Hello everyone, so today we are starting with another very important topic, that is the developmental disturbances of oral and the paraoral structures. So today the very first we are going to discuss about teeth. It is going to be a series of some episodes in which we will be covering all the paraoral structures, whether they are the salivary glands or whether it is your mouth, lip, palate, teeth, everything will be covered. So today we will be discussing particularly about the developmental disturbances of your teeth. So starting with the classification now, how can you classify the developmental disturbances of teeth is the most widest part of the chapter, and it is being divided on some classification criteria. The very first on the basis of size, shape, structure and the number of teeth. Coming to the first one, that is on the basis of your size. So on the basis of size, the tooth can either be macrodontia or microdontia. What does the word macro mean? It means which is something very large or big, whereas what do you mean by micro? Micro means when the things are very small, that is known as micro. So dontia, the term which is common in both the condition here, means dentition, or you can simply say it means teeth. So when you have large or big teeth, it is macrodontia. When you have small teeth, it is microdontia. The question arises, large and small, to which context, to which particular context? So when the tooth is larger than the normal one, it is said to be macrodontia. When it is smaller to the normal one, it is said to be the microdontia. Coming to the first part, that is macrodontia. As I just told you, tooth is larger than the normal one. It can be further of two types, localized and generalized. Now localized can further be of two types and generalized can further be of two types. So in localized you can have the true form and the pseudo form. Here also you can have the true form and the pseudo form. I just wrote it here, the true and pseudo form. So first talking about the localized true form. The cause for this is unknown. Okay, there is no known cause. So the cause is completely unknown. Now when you talk for the pseudo part, the reason can be mixed dentition. What do you see in mixed dentition? There is both kind of tooth in the child's mouth. That is your deciduous tooth and the permanent tooth. And the sizes of both the tooth are very different to each other. One is larger and one is completely small. So that is the reason you can feel that there is macrodontia in some cases, but it is just an illusion because the mixed dentition state is persisting there. Now you come to the generalized. Again here also you have two conditions, the true and the pseudo. In generalized true, the reason can be pituitary gigantism. Okay, person who are suffering from any kind of disorder. Any kind of disorder like the pituitary gigantism can be a reason for this. Gigantism. Now you come to the pseudo. Pseudo is when you can have micrognathia. What is micrognathia? This condition is when you have a small jaw. So in many patients you see there is a condition when patients are having small jaw, but the tooth size they are having is normal. And because of the small jaw condition, you will feel that the tooth is larger in size. In actual, the tooth is not larger in size, it is normal only. Instead, the jaw size is small, but it gives an illusion that the tooth is larger. So this can be a reason of generalized pseudo macrodontia. Now we come to microdontia. It is when the tooth size is smaller than the normal. It can either again be localized or generalized, and localized can be of two type, that is true and pseudo. Whereas your generalized can also be of two type, that is your true and pseudo. So now talking about what can be the reason here for this particular one, the tooth size localized true. For true, the reason can be very important, peg lateralis. If I show you the spelling, peg lateralis, I hope you can see. So peg lateralis can be a reason for true microdontia in the localized type. In pseudo type, the reason can be your retained deciduous tooth. Sometimes there are retained deciduous tooth in the mouth, and your deciduous tooth are very small in size, due to which you feel that the tooth is only small and it is microdontia, but it is actually the retained deciduous tooth which you see. Now you come to the generalized part. As I just told you, it has two subtypes, that is true and pseudo. In the true generalized microdontia, the reason can be pituitary dwarfism. Pituitary dwarfism. In earlier one we had the reason, that is gigantism, but here we have the reason, that is pituitary dwarfism. People who are suffering from this particular disease, whether it is pituitary dwarfism or Down syndrome, they usually have small size of the tooth. So this can be a reason in generalized. All the teeth are going to be small in size in such patients. Now talking about the pseudo, in case of pseudo, the reason can be macrognathia. It is possible that you have a large tooth size due to which it can happen that the tooth appears to be very small. The normal tooth appears to be very small. क्योंकि jaw का size इतना ज़्यादा बड़ा है फिर tooth उसमें छोटा लगता है देखने में. So it is not actually small. It is a illusion which is seen. So this is about macrodontia and microdontia. So this was on the basis of the size. Now we come on the basis of the teeth shape. This is the interesting part of the topic, on the basis of the tooth shape. So the first condition we have here is gemination. Now what is gemination? Gemination is a condition in which the single crown tries to split or divide into two individual crowns. Like you can see in the figure, there is just one crown. This is one complete tooth. It is not two tooth fused together. It is just one tooth. There is a single root here. The crown is trying to divide into two different crowns. Okay, this is a single crown which is trying to split itself. So this is known as gemination. When you have one single root canal and one single crown which is trying to split. So there is a single root canal which can be seen and it majorly affects your anterior tooth. The next one we have is fusion. Fusion is basically a condition you can see in the diagram itself. When two different tooth structures they fuse together, as the name says, fusion. When two different crowns or roots are fused together, that is said to be fusion. The tooth in counting is one more than the normal. If you see in the earlier case, if you will count a case of gemination, when you will count the dentition, it will appear to be a normal dentition only. The tooth counting in the arch is going to be normal because at last this is one tooth. But here in fusion, when you will try to count, the tooth count will be one more than the normal. Okay, so this is the condition which you see in case of fusion. So the next thing is it can occur due to various kind of forces. So it can occur because of various kind of developmental forces, and two different roots and two different canals are there, and it gives bad aesthetic. Obviously this kind of condition is not going to look beautiful when you see here, and there is debris accumulation which is also seen. Also correct one thing, the tooth count will be one less than the normal. It is not going to be one more, it is going to be one less than the normal. For example, this is your jaw and you have various teeth, and here two teeth are fused together and these are the counting. So when you try to count this particular dentition, it will be something like 1, 2. You will be counting this as one whole. Balki they are two different teeth now, but you are counting them as one only. So 3, 4, 5. So actually there are 6 teeth in this arch, but you counted them as 5 because you are counting this particular one as one single entity. Now coming to dilaceration. Dilaceration is basically a condition in which there is a very sharp bend or tilt in the root of the tooth. So here you can see in the diagram there is such a sharp bend which can be seen in the root portion of the tooth. So this is what is known as dilaceration. It can occur due to the adjacent tooth pressure. So sometimes what happens at the time of eruption, the adjacent tooth can apply some pressure which can lead to dilaceration. Also any kind of trauma can be the reason. Endodontic treatment, RCT, becomes very difficult in this kind of root canals, and the extraction is also very difficult. You cannot see this in the general examination or the clinical examination when you are examining your patient, but it can particularly be detected in the radiograph. The next we have is concrescence. Concrescence is basically a condition when two individual teeth are joined to each other through the cementum. Like in this particular diagram, you can see that these teeth are all attached through the cemento-enamel junction, mainly through the cementum. So it is commonly seen in the posterior teeth. It is difficult extraction because you will try to particularly take out this tooth. For example, you just want to extract this particular tooth, but they all are attached to each other. So you will go for extraction of one tooth, but you will end up taking out two teeth or the number of teeth which are attached together. So extraction is very difficult in these cases. It can be of any traumatic injury or any adjacent tooth pressure, and it is mainly seen and diagnosed in the radiographs only. The next thing we have is taurodontism. So taurodontism is a condition when there is when the tooth is actually enlarged at the expense of the roots, and there is appearance of a bulk teeth which you can see. So it can many a time come as a MCQ also. that what is the condition known as bulk teeth. Where do you see bulk teeth normally? So that condition is known as your taurodontism. There is enlarged pulp chamber and the altered bifurcation point. I will show you in the figure. Here you can see this is the normal tooth structure which you have, the pulp and every structure, cementum, enamel, everything. So this is a normal condition. Now in this condition you can see the size of the pulp chamber has increased a bit. In the third figure you see the pulp chamber size has increased more and the demarcation point or the bifurcation point of the roots is been falling down. It's decreasing in size, and here the pulp chamber is completely taking over the size of the root and the bifurcation point is almost diminished in this case. So there can be three conditions in taurodontism. It can be hypotaurodontism if it is a mild case, mesotaurodontism it is moderate, and hypertaurodontism if it is a severe case. So as I just told you, what is taurodontism? When the body of the tooth gets enlarged from the root area, that is known as taurodontism. Tooth appears as bulk teeth, the pulp chamber is enlarged and the bifurcation point is altered. Now the first one you see here is going to be your hypotaurodontism. This one is the mesotaurodontism and this one is your hypertaurodontism. Now we come to the next part. The next shape defect which we have is the Talen's cusp. Talen's cusp is basically a condition in which there can be a wing teeth appearance or a T-shaped incisor can be seen. So Talen's cusp, as in the figure you can see in the central incisors, this particular structure, it appears that it is a T-shaped incisor, like it appears like it is this shaped incisor. This is the incisor ledge and this is the Talen's cusp. So it's appeared like a T-shaped incisor or like a wing teeth, as if the teeth has got wings. Talen's cusp is arising from the cemento-enamel junction to half of the incisal edge. For example, if this is your tooth structure, so it will start arising from here till half of the like this. It will arise like this, from cemento-enamel junction to half of the incisal edge. Here also you can see this. And aesthetic is definitely harmed in this case. Also, there is a lot of formation or accumulation of debris which can be seen, which can lead to dental caries also. Now coming to the supernumerary roots. Supernumerary roots is basically a condition when you have more than normal counting of the roots. For example, if a tooth normally has, like if I tell you about the central incisor only, so generally central incisor has got one root, but in conditions there can be a condition where the central incisor is having two roots, or either it is splitting in roots. There is supernumerary roots which is seen. So that condition is known as supernumerary roots. This can affect any tooth. It's not that particularly seen only in posterior regions, or it is particularly seen only in the anterior regions. It can affect any of the tooth. The difficulty of extraction can be seen. Of course, the endodontic treatment also becomes difficult, and it can only be detected in the radiographs because the root is always embedded inside the gingiva, so you cannot see it clinically, but you have to go for some radiographs for this condition. So this was part 1 of this particular topic, that is the developmental abnormalities of tooth. For further more videos and further more of this content, please go and watch the part 2 of the video.